Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I just got the platinum chip.
And I'm Claire, and I'm wearing SIM card earrings.
And this is
Make That Game, where we pitch the latest,
the greatest,
new video game ideas.
That won't ever get made.
No. But we're here anyway, because that's what we love.
Yeah, as is said, as has been said and will be said, we pitch them.
And we ditch them.
And we ditch them. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going for like a finish each other's sentences kind of thing.
No,
so I just went with
we
it.
don't finish each other's
Okay. Sentences.
Sandwiches.
I wasn't going to do the joke is what I wanted. I want it to be different. I want it to be different. And different, I mean the regular
different
joke.
Doesn't mean good.
You are full of sayings today.
I'm full of venom is what it is.
Oh boy. Okay. Is that going to be part of your game that you pitch?
No.
Oh.
That's what we do here, by the way, folks. If you're tuning in for the first time on this 98th episode you're listening to, we pitch games. We come up with ideas. Mm-hmm. We share them with each other and by extension, you, the listener. And then we forget about them. Yep. That's the titular ditch them. It's not titular because it's not in the title, but
yeah, very much not.
And so like we come up with cool mechanics and stuff and game design. We design games. That's what this is, a game design podcast.
That's what this is. So anyway, well if your game isn't going to be about sayings and being, what did you say, venomous?
Venomous, yeah, being full of venom.
What is your game about?
My game's name is Long Tooom.
Long Tom? But
no,
sorry,
Long Tooom.
Okay.
It's Toom, so most people would say, "Oh, Long Tooom."
Okay, I might suggest that you add like an extra O in there.
Long Tooom.
Well, I think
3 O's.
Because I think 3 O's is gonna indicate better the length that you want people to go to say it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And this is a mechanics forward idea. So I haven't really come up with like the narrative, the setting, like specifically what it is. But the basic idea is you are a long creature who is long enough that the back legs and front legs are, for all intents and purposes, different characters within the game.
Oh, okay. So we're thinking a little quappy.
A little quappy. Not really. I wouldn't say quappy. I think a very close analog, like game analog to this, would be like Snake.
Okay.
Where your body is long. Yeah. I think most people have seen Snake. They know the deal. Like you can't cross over it.
I don't know. The way you just described it makes it seem very strange. Your body's long. You can't cross over it. Snake.
Yeah. But, so yeah, the basic idea is there are a series of levels that you have to navigate based around, did I say obstacles? Yeah. Based around avoiding obstacles that like, you have to. Oh wait, no, you don't. No, I've just changed it because this adds a depth to it.
We're in it right now, everyone. We're learning this together.
So you're not playing two separate characters for all intents and purposes. Your butt is planted firmly in place because I think that's a much more interesting game. Because any puzzle that involves like the length of the body and like not crossing it is easily solved by just moving your front forward and then your butt forward.
Right,
and then
but this way, whatever,
you don't have to navigate anything.
Yeah, whatever you do with your front will impact your back, but you can't do anything about it.
Correct. So this way you actually have to stretch through the entire level and like keep in mind where you've stretched through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to keep in mind where you've stretched through and like where you need to stretch to. Not really stretch, I guess, because you are a set length, but like you can't like wrap around a pole 75 times and like just willy-nilly go around the level. You have to like focus on like one obstacle at a time. Okay, how do I get around this obstacle? And then maybe an obstacle you need to get around later on, you have to be like, oh shoot, because I've like gone around the first obstacle this way, I actually have to backtrack and go around it a different way so I could get around this third obstacle. And you traverse the entire level with your butt planted in place.
I feel like this is going to be deceptively difficult to play. Like it looks fun and goofy and easy, but then you start playing and it's you just have to repeat levels over and over because you can't. You got to get them
a little bit. And now I'm re-looking at the notes again, just so because I've had this idea for a while. One of the things that is in these notes is you can wrap around objects to shorten length to drop into pits safely, which I think is a very interesting puzzle mechanic.
I like that, yeah.
You wrap yourself around a pillar, and then you go down into a pit, and like the bottom of the pit is spikes, but because you've shortened yourself, you don't fall all the way down, and then you can just spring yourself back up, climb, pull your body back.
I like that.
This is a questionable mechanic. You can tell because in my notes I have 4 question marks after it. I did not, while I designed this, fully figure out whether I wanted it or not. This goes back to when you control the front legs and the back legs as 2 separate characters. Yeah. This might be a middleman in between that, a little compromise. It says, can move but can't see it? Question mark, which I actually really like.
That's another good way to do it. I don't know though. Like,
okay, here's the thing. Yeah. Some levels, your butt is like stuck in a hole, and then your goal is to like get out of the level by like doing whatever to like unstuck your butt. And some levels you do have free butt movement, but yeah, you can't see it, and then you just kind of have to remember where you were, and you're like, oh, I need to get a little closer, but my butt wrapped around so many things, and you just gotta like by memory move it with like a separate area of the keyboard. Like,
I just also
and like the only feedback you get is like the way that the rest of your body moves. You're like,
No, that's really funny, and I also just really like the note in your notes app that says can move but can't see it.
Yeah,
that's just very good.
Yeah,
it's a very good thing.
The notes of a genius, folks. It takes a genius to understand them.
Yeah.
And we're all geniuses here because we all got it.
We all got it. Yeah. Everyone here got it. Yeah.
So that's Long Tooom.
Cool. Well, I like it. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, well, we don't even have to do anything else on this podcast because I think I just clinched it. So, hey.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
I guess that's it.
Have enjoy the rest of your day. We just freed up some time. No, you know what? Here you go, Claire.
Okay.
Do you want to give a game idea?
I will give a game idea. So this is also, I would categorize your game in a silly game category, you know.
You know what? I would love to see it at GDQ.
Yeah.
This one is the one that's getting made just to see it at GDQ.
And for those who don't know, that's the Games Done Quick. We talk about it a lot, but speedrun. And they have a thing called the Silly Block where they play games that are very silly, and I think that would fit nicely. I also have a silly game today.
Unfair.
It's called Dr. Punchy, and I want you to kind of imagine the game Operation little bit.
The board game?
Yeah.
Like the children's
board game, yeah.
With the pliers and the tweezers.
The tweezers, and you take little pieces out. Just for like the aesthetics, I guess, because what I imagine... So it's going to be hard to describe, I guess. It's kind of strange.
We
it's a
love
silly
hard
game.
to describe games.
So the idea... I guess let's start with the mechanic, right? The mechanic is that you're solving medical problems by like punching them.
Man.
Or like just being, but I wanted to start with Operation because I don't want you to think this is like actually gory, because that's not what I see it as. Like, it's silly. So like, oh, they have appendicitis, you have to like punch them in the appendix, or like
that's what a chiropractor does, actually.
You have a headache, so you have to like take their head off or something. Like basically like the most unhinged way to solve the medical problem, but also it's a very simple thing. Like it's not and I mean it is violent, but I don't want it to be
graphic
gory.
Violence.
Yeah, it's kind of like silly like, so it's more like, I want to imagine
it's highly cartoonish.
Exactly. Yeah, like the images are highly cartoonish. They probably don't even like move in the same way that, you know, like there's not like breathing animation. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's just kind of almost a doll. But yeah, so the the challenges would be, you get a patient, quote unquote, and there's something wrong with them, and then you have to like.
I like the idea of them all being like mannequins. Like you're just like an actual delusional person who thinks that they're a doctor.
Maybe, or maybe it's like doctor training or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're training to be a doctor, and it's like, what kind of training is this?
And the final boss is that you have to punch the illness out of your doctor master. Your Dr. Kung Fu Master.
So it is kind of, I guess in some ways it's kind of like single player Street Fighter, but you're just like punching patients. And I think accuracy is a big part of it. So, like, okay, you have pain in the appendix. Well, you have to like look at some chart or something in the game to show you like, where is the appendix? And you have to like punch it a certain amount of times with a certain level of strength.
Okay.
To like cure it.
Okay. I like the idea of the actual punching rather than being like a Street Fighter thing. I like it like
you just like click and punch.
You've got the mouse, and I'm thinking like I don't know if you've ever played like a golf game, but I guess the way that
some golf games.
Okay, so golf games like where you have like the power meter and you have to hit within like the way that Spring Blades worked.
Yeah. That would be
where
great.
Like the fist, you basically like get the above view fist, and you have like really clunky like I'm taking over your game idea here. Tell me if this is wanted or not.
I mean, this sounds good. This sounds like along the lines of what I want.
So like you go into the operation and you get really clunky like prize crane controls to aim the fist where it needs to go. Mm-hmm. And you don't really have any like targeting reticle or anything. So you just kind of like hope that the fist actually lines up with what you want, just like a crane game.
Yeah, that's good.
And then it like has a pullback animation where you actually see like the fist pulling back, and that's like the power meter. And then you have to do that consecutive times at like the correct power to like cure your patient.
Yeah. No, this is good.
And that's the way that I'm envisioning this working.
Cool. Yeah. No, I mean that sounds great.
Yeah, good.
And that's Dr. Punchy.
That's Dr. Punchy. All right. Well, hey, that's 2 game ideas in 10 minutes?
Well, we've recorded for 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, well, 2 minutes of intro. So, that's
pretty
What more could you ask from us? That's real condensed.
You could ask us to discuss a game design topic.
Oh, wow, we have more to do here. I was ready to give it up after
it's only
Long
because
Tooom.
I promised we'd get ice cream after.
She did promise me ice cream as soon as this wraps up. So that's you might sense a theme with me. Speed running.
You're speed running for the reward.
Speed running for the reward of ice cream.
And just to be clear, it's not a bribe. I just did say, we'll go get ice cream after.
It's because I got pulled over. I'm just airing all my dirty laundry here.
Isaac's license was expired, so I had
a birthday.
Happy birthday.
This is the first time my license has ever expired. Yes, I am a very old person for this to be the first time to happen, but things have always conspired where I got a new license before the old one expired. So I thought that it worked like everything else related to cars.
So that's bad game design.
That's bad game design. Yes. Lawmakers, take a game design class. Does this make sense that license or that registration and inspection happens any point during your birthday month, but license renewal happens exactly on your birthday? No, that's unintuitive game design.
It is unintuitive because you register your car and inspect your car way more frequently than you get a license. So it's like that's the rules that you become used to.
Exactly.
Bad game design. It's bad game design.
That's actually hype that we were able to tag that into like game design. Like that's something that you as a game designer can take away. Like if you've got like a mechanic there, you've got like some like related mechanics, just make them intuitive, make them make sense.
Well, and I think we talked a little bit about this when we talked about sequel games, maybe, or something. I feel like we talked a little about like intuition in. Oh, no, controls. It was like learning controls.
Yeah.
And that
was that the one where we talked about Little Nightmares?
No, that was way longer ago.
Oh, because that's tactile controls.
Yes. This one was more just about like learning the control mechanisms and how the more consistent games stay, the better. I mean, I don't think we touched on this, but can you imagine how unhinged it would be if like games didn't use the same like OK button? Like on a Nintendo, if A was not OK in like...
Oh, I mean, that happens sometimes.
That's unhinged.
Like some games are just like, you know what, today, B is okay. every other game on this system uses A as okay, but B is okay for my game.
Yeah, that's...
That there is a game that did that for the PlayStation. Every game, like, you do X,
right,
like on every menu, but for some reason Final Fantasy Tactics was circle.
Okay.
And so, like, the first time I ever loaded it up as a 7-year-old or whatever, very small brain, not handling the world very well, trying to, like, just spamming X, and it's like not doing anything, but I'm like, I want to start a new game.
Aww.
I want to start how do I start a new game?
No.
Why? What is the actor that I just did the voice of? He always appeared on Scooby-Doo, big wide-eyed guy. I don't know why that's what I sounded like as a child, apparently. Don something.
Don Knotts?
Don Knotts, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I think Don Knotts is who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
And that's the voice that I just used to represent me as a 7-year-old.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's what 7-year-olds sound like.
I know that. I was just going to say, too, with like controllers, because I guess we're discussing that now. I don't know.
No, you had an actual topic lined up. Let's just talk about that. As you said, we've talked about controls before.
Yeah, we were going to talk about game updates.
Okay.
Yeah. I was inspired by Matchington Manor, which is a match 3 game I play on my cell phone.
Yes.
And I just noticed, I've been playing it, I think I downloaded it in like 2018 or 19, but I started playing it in earnest in 2020. So it's been a solid 4 years where I've just been playing this game. And they've made a lot of quality of life improvements in the game. And I think it's really interesting. And I was just curious to talk about it, I guess.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what kind of quality of life improvements are we talking about here?
Yeah. So for one, there used to be a power-up if you matched like 4 things together in... Well, okay, so let me just define a match 3 game just in case.
Yeah, in case you're a gamer.
It's like Candy Crush, okay? So it's like you're matching 3 things together, and then they disappear off the board. Usually three or more things, and then more things fill in, and you have like a goal to get something.
Yeah, usually it's a limited number of moves to like clear out certain things. Like you might have like a box.
Yep.
That
you have to open the box and then clear what's in the box by matching next to it.
Yeah. And then, or like there might be grass under the gems that you're matching. Yes. And then if you match the gems on top of grass, it takes the grass away. And the goal is like, get rid of all the grass. So yeah, they a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. So anyway, so in the game, you can get power-ups by matching things in different ways. So like if you do like 5 of the same color together, you get a color bomb, which like
clears all
of
color.
One color. Yeah. You get, so etc. They had one where if you match like 4 in a square arrangement, then you get a tiny bomb, which just did like 4 damage basically around itself.
Okay.
It was kind of useless, to be honest, because like it didn't do a lot of damage and you didn't have a lot of choice as to how to use it.
So it just hit like the cardinal directions, like up, down, like, left, right?
Around it, yeah.
Okay.
But they changed it. They said, okay, we're making a better one. They changed it and swapped it for a helicopter. And the helicopter not only will destroy the things on the sides of it, but it also flies to another objective and destroys that too.
Does it destroy the area around the objective or just the objective itself? Okay, all right.
So, like, at first I thought it was kind of annoying, but now I really, like, once you get to use it strategically, it can be really cool because you can also use it, like, say you have a couple of those on the board and you get, like, a larger bomb and you can explode some stuff. You can also basically set those into motion and then get even more stuff in that one move.
So, in Royal Match, they had this, like, little helicopter thing? Which is another match 3 game, I think probably made by the same company.
No, because Matchington, we went into a deep dive in Matchington, and it's like the only thing they do, yeah.
Okay, well, wow. All match 3s are the same.
It's true. Well, they are very similar.
So in that, what I liked to do was I like to use a color bomb plus one of those helicopters because that would like clear the board and like hit every objective because it'd be like, okay, all purple ones now turn into helicopters, which all blow up the spaces around them and then fly.
It works a little differently if you combine a color bomb with a helicopter in Matchington. It just turns a bunch of different pieces into helicopters, but they don't destroy what's next to them. They just fly to new objectives.
Oh, that's stupid. Stupid.
Oh boy. Okay. This man needs ice cream. That's all I can say.
I need ice cream.
The other things that they've done, so there used to be, so part of the mechanics are sometimes like creating obstacles to get to places on the board. Mm-hmm. But they'll have these tiles that you have to clear that are you have to clear. That's all I have to say about that. But
okay.
It used to be that you an object, like one of the match pieces, had to be over a tile for you to clear the tile. But they changed it so that, say you have like a bomb or something, something that can get into the corners even when there's not pieces there, you can take out those tiles, which I think is really cool. It just helps. I think gameplay is interesting. So those are like the two biggest like actual changes they've made. I think they're good though. I think they're really good.
All right. So would you describe anything like bloat, or would you say that these are all like just change? Okay. So let me define bloat, because it sounds like none of these are like additions. Like these are like change updates. So bloat is like, I think this more in like the tabletop space. I don't think video games have as big of a problem with it, but like let's take Age of Sigmar, for example, right? You can at a basic level like play Age of Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar is a tabletop RPG
tabletop
war game.
Where you control an army of fantasy characters. And so like at a base level, okay, I've got, my army, and then I roll some dice and I battle, and then they have the General's Handbook, which gives you an extra layer of rules to like play competitively. So like not only do you have like the basic, I'm building an army, you also now have to consider, here are these like special objectives and such, and then they release an expansion that's like endless spells, which are like special spells that you can cast that move around the board instead of just like, I throw a fireball at you, you summon a fireball, a flaming skull that runs around laughing at people and burning them and stuff. And then you have to remember like what those rules are. And like when you're building your armies, you have to consider like the impact of like all these different extra spells. And then they introduce another layer of like build your own characters. And now you have to consider that in the mix. And then they add another expansion of incarnates, which are like special big monsters that you can summon and bind to heroes and stuff, and they have their own special rule set. And eventually you get to a point where if a new player like wants to get into Age of Sigmar, because everybody else is already so invested into it, they already like know all, they're like using all these other layers of rules, so like the new player has to learn all of these new layers
along with the base. No, this is definitely like if someone downloaded Matchington today, they would have these game mechanics in there, and that would be what they know as the game. Like they wouldn't know the old style. They also changed the color scheme, which like I don't really think impacted gameplay, but it was a little rough to get used to at first.
Did they change the UI with it, or just like the visual aspect, like the aesthetic?
Just the aesthetic.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think though they added a long time ago haptics, like haptic responses. So like the phone vibrates when you make a match. Fun. It is fun. I liked it. I like it a lot. I still like it.
Okay. And yeah, that again is not falling into the level of bloat. And now I'm like trying to think. I know that there's video games that have bloated, but like I can't think of any examples off the top of my head.
I would be thinking it would mostly be an MMO, right?
Right. But MMOs, a lot of what they add to MMOs is usually at the top end, which means that like the new player experience doesn't exactly change. Like you can load in
right.
First time you start at level 1, like just the nature of level progression.
I thought of one.
Yeah?
The Sims.
Oh, because like
with all the expansion packs.
Yeah, and you have to figure out which ones like actually improve the game versus or like are guide you towards the experience. But also, I think there's this
like overwhelm with because like a lot of the I shouldn't say each expansion pack because now they expand like they'll be like this expansion pack has 5 new shirts for $20. Like it's like it's out of control. But a lot of them do come with some have gameplay in them. Like I have, again, going back to the Sims 2, but like you get the nightlife one, and then you have different options when you're flirting with people. You get like, the university one. You have different options when you're talking to like children or like young adults. You get actually with the university, you get a whole new different age group of sim, which is young adult versus adult. Like,
oh.
Yeah, which they actually ported into all the other games after that as an age group, so it's different now. But so like gameplay does change, and I can see it as bloat only in the sense that if you, like me, started playing Sims really early, you played like the base, like nothing, and you were adding these on slowly over time and learning how to play with them. Yeah, so you
became acclimated
to
it.
And I guess you could acclimate yourself. Like you could choose to do it yourself because you're not forced to download all the expansions. But there is this kind of community pressure of like, oh, you're missing out. Like there's all these things, and like you'll see people do things on TikTok or stream or whatever that you're watching, and they say, oh, well, you have to have this pack to do this and this pack to do that and this pack to do that. And I think, I don't know, does that kind of fit?
Yeah, that kind of fits. Yeah, I will say, like, just having this conversation is making me realize that, like, video games in general are a lot better about this. Just the way that they're designed.
Right.
Usually, like, I talk about this a lot, and I'm not sure how in-depth I've ever gotten into it, but there's, like, this curve of, like, player skill over time and difficulty of game that is supposed to, like,
we have talked about
be
this
a diagonal line, effectively. Because games are supposed to be designed around, and obviously it changes based on your specific game, but like basic baby advice for games is that you want to hit that diagonal line there, and you want player skill to, or expectations of player skill at least, to increase as game goes on. So like the obstacles become more difficult to clear, but the player has been practicing their skills enough that it still feels the same difficulty as like level one.
Like a baby.
Yeah, they feel like they are leveling up with the game. So because games hit that design, they're already like incrementally introducing features and mechanics.
And even I would say like DLCs don't really count towards bloat because they're usually so optional and so like on the side of the story that it doesn't, just kind of extends the story more than it.
Right. And especially these days, like I feel like a lot of DLCs don't add like massive amounts of mechanics.
And also DLC
anything.
Stands for just in case.
Downloadable content.
Yeah, so basically just extra stuff for the game. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of because I've been playing New Vegas a lot, I'm thinking about like the New Vegas DLCs, and like those don't really add mechanics. Those add like side quests.
Yeah,
like new areas.
And we watched we watched a speedrun of a DLC of Pokemon Violet, and that was basically just another quest.
Oh yeah, just another area.
And you get a couple more Pokemon, right?
Right. I think Pokemon is probably one of the biggest examples of bloat, but they have figured out how to get around it. Just when there was 900 Pokemon and like every game included all of the Pokemon from the previous games, and you were expected to know.
No, that's a really good point. Because if you'd started from game one, you would just be adding on to your knowledge.
Yeah.
But then me like coming in at, Pokemon Violet, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What the heck is a spoink?
Yeah. Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Spoinks evolve into Grumpigs.
Of course. Why not?
Yeah, obviously. Anyways. Yeah. So, okay, yeah. So game updates, what we've learned through discussion here is that games are designed in such a way where bloat is easily managed by players. It doesn't like, you can get bloated. I feel like Age of Empires has like 45 civilizations. Like League of Legends has 150 or whatever champions. That is somewhat bloat, but I don't think you're ever expected to know, unless you're playing at like a top tier competitive level. You're not really, as a new player, I don't think the games mandate that here's what all 150 champions do and every single item in the game and how they interact with each other.
I mean, you don't have to.
You don't have to. At some level, it's just like, okay, this is an ability power champion. They're casters. They will do magic damage to you. And so if you are fighting against them, you build magic defense. And that's like the level that you as a new player really need to know. And then there's a bunch of intricacies that like competitive people know. But yeah, overall, video games, good job. You did it.
We love it. Yeah.
Tabletop games though. Oh my God.
On that.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on like Pathfinder. One edition, first edition, Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. I think every single tabletop war game hits like blue. But okay, we are here for video game podcast. Let's what is it? The rapid fire round? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we do at the end of the show, which is where we're now.
All right, ice cream time.
Almost.
Let's make it truly rapid fire.
Oh. Wow. Okay. This is how to motivate Isaac, everyone. Now you know.
So what we do is we set the timer for 5 minutes. I have a little stopwatch app on my phone. It's set for 5 minutes. Claire generates 3 random words, and then we come up with a game idea with a name and mechanics and all that within 5 minutes based on those 3 random words. We do have to incorporate every one of those 3 random words.
But we have been known to stretch the truth a little bit.
We do stretch, and
let's go.
Yeah, nothing happens if we don't do it in time, except for
I get really sad.
We get really sad, yeah. Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm just laughing because we have so many baking games. Dough, symptom, analyst.
Wait, how's dough spelled?
Well,
it is DOUGH. It's not like DOE or anything.
Well, DOE would be not baking. So
right. Well, you know what? Sometimes.
I mean, dough. This could mean money as well. We could use it to mean money.
Symptom analyst. Okay.
I mean, that's like doctor. But I'm just thinking about Dr. Punchy. You know, the games from the beginning always influence us a little bit.
Okay. Bakery, hospital, where you sell medicinal bread.
Yes, actually.
So there is a portion of the game where you collect herbs and other ingredients in nature because you're like a witchy baker with, I guess, holistic medicine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Make it fantasy so it doesn't feel too close to like, what's the term? Crunchy? What is it?
It is crunchy, yeah.
Yeah, crunchy hippie. Like,
yeah, no, it's fantasy. This takes place
fantasy, so
fantasy.
It's not like, oh, yeah, take this herb to cure your COVID. Anyway.
Oh, right. Moving swiftly on.
Okay. So you collect ingredients in the woods. Then you can bake bread. Patients come in. They take up beds in your little bakery hospital until they're better. So like you want to get patients out as quick as possible.
And you're analyzing their symptoms and then making the bread for them.
Yes. And then once the bread is baked, you give them to them, and they might have like a short recovery time. And then you just it's kind of like Diner Dash, where you're managing like incoming, outgoing like people because you want them out as fast as possible, but they need proper like taking care of, and like you might not have the ingredients you need specifically, and you might need to like talk to NPCs or like go to a library in game or something to figure out that like certain herbs grow in certain locations in like the game world. Here's a big question: is there a combat component?
No.
Okay. So it's just like it's just you wander around.
Well, because I think collecting and management is enough.
Yeah. Okay. Because like one could have like slimes and goblins in the forest, but okay, we don't do that. We don't do that. All right. What's it called?
It's called What Do You Need?
What? What do you need?
KNEAD.
Oh my God. Okay, what about people in need?
Okay.
Or monsters in need, goblins in need? Because I want to sell the fantasy aspect of this and the hospital aspect.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think like something in need, but like what are your patients going to be? Are they animals? Are they goblins, like fantasy creatures? Are they just people? Are goblins people?
I don't know if we can, because I kind of think it'd be fun if you had different types of creatures, right? Like if you had goblins.
I think that if you called it goblins in need, I think that would give enough like for the title that then you can introduce like trolls and everything.
Okay, then I'm good with that.
All right, goblins in need, KNEAD, the Baking Bread Hospital game.
Baking Bread Hospital fantasy game.
Yes. All right. Got the timer set again. I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Directory emergency beam, BEAM.
Directory emergency beam?
They just want us to make doctor things only.
Okay. Okay, but I like this intergalactic space ambulance that uses like the tractor beam to pick up the patients.
Yeah.
So like you control the actual UFO and it's got really like cruddy controls. That's the difficulty of it. I'm thinking there's a game called Subterranea for the Sega Genesis, and like even older there's a couple like Moonlander, Mars Lander games where like it's very difficult to control the lander, and you just have like a level that you navigate through to land at a certain spot and then like take off. Subterranea has like a combat component, but this is, people are having an emergency. The directory part, this isn't really fitting, but I'm just taking that as like
a list. Like you get like a list of people and there's a directory of planets that you serve and a list of people who are having emergencies on each planet. I think that's fine.
Yeah, and then you navigate the level like using the different thrusters to get to the point where you then beam up the patients and then you take them back to the hospital. And that's the game. So it's like the Lander games.
I like that
name. And to be clear, this is a 2D kind of side view game.
Oh, okay.
Just based on the games that I referenced, like that's how they worked. Yeah. I don't think that this would be very good as like a 3D.
I guess there was like a little submarine game that I played that was similar to this.
Yeah, that HIO package.
Yeah, it was fun.
You liked it.
I mean, I still have it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be past tense.
You brought it up on podcast.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Okay, anyway. Doctor, beam me up.
Doctor, beam me up. Okay, actually, hold on. No, but beam me up, doctor.
Beam me up, doctor.
It works, right? Because like it's a Star Trek reference, and just where we instead of saying Scotty, we say doctor, and all right, beam me up, doctor. Man, with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock,
we are killing it.
We killed it. We're speedrunning it. To get that ice cream.
I'm really, if I ever need you to do a task that you don't want to do, this is how I.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even, again, I wasn't using this to like make you do a podcast fast.
No.
But it is what the result.
Yeah. We're on fire today.
All right.
Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Gossip, gasp, sweater.
Gossip, gasp, sweater.
Like, what an ugly sweater.
No, I know. I mean, this builds itself. This is like a Mean Girls, like Gossip Girl, like type of game. Our phones just airdropped each other because we're waving them so close in our little podcast studio. Oh no, we're wasting time. All right, so, okay. We've done these kind of like social interaction, like talk 'em up games.
I think my favorite was when everyone like passes out or something. I don't know. Anyway, there was one where everyone dies, but yeah.
And maybe this is like a deduction kind of game where you are trying to find the gossip girl.
What if this? Okay, yes, and it's an ugly sweater party with very distinct ugly sweaters that are randomly generated every time you play the game. So one of
is that part of the
yes, because it's like Clue. You'll use clues of how the gossip is being generated to kind of determine like who hasn't been talked about, like who like.
Okay.
So yeah, like the different combinations of sweaters will rule out people, right? Like there's I don't know.
And like people who like witness things will describe what sweaters they see. Like the perpetrator wearing, and then you narrow it down, and
and I think there's going to be like kind of like we were watching the game. Oh, what was the characters? They're not lemmings, but almost Zoombinis.
Oh yeah,
like they have so like the sweaters would be like they have like a neck color, a base color, a sleeve color, and like a design, and those can be completely like randomized.
Okay.
So like all people who have like green sleeves are cool, and then you're like, okay, well. Then if they're hanging out.
Okay, so it's like really a logical deduction game.
Does that work?
Yes. So you talk to each character, they give you sets of facts, and then you take those facts and you narrow down like the odd man out. Yeah,
but I also think that there's like quote unquote gossip released, right? Because we're trying to find the gossip girl, right?
Yeah.
So like the gossip will include the sweater stuff. So that's how you get clues.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, and then that will tell you like the next person to talk to. Like you get the initial basic set.
Like who to talk to, or like it'll eliminate people, right?
Okay.
It's like well they aren't in this room because they only talked about people who have this and they're.
And then you can add an extra layer to it with like a timeline kind of feature where, you know, I was in this room at 3:00 and I saw someone in a green sleeved sweater. And then you go, okay, everyone with green sleeves is, like you said, good, because if well, not everyone with green sleeves, but at least one person with green sleeves
now
is safe.
Narrowed down,
because they were at that location. Right. They couldn't have been where like the gossip release happened.
Yeah. So we don't have to narrow it down completely, but I think we get the gist.
And then the gasp, we got to incorporate the gasp explicitly. When you reveal the Gossip Girl, it shows an animation of every character gasping.
Yeah.
One at a time, and it takes a comically long amount of time, and sometimes it repeats characters. I think that would be funny. That's my kind of joke.
Well, because you put it in your own game, where they say goodbye to the animals for like 3 full minutes.
It's 2 minutes.
Okay.
I
was really close,
It's 30 seconds per animal. Wait, is it 3 whole... Anyways, we're not talking about my game. We've got a minute left on the clock.
All right. Unraveled. The sweater deduction game.
Unraveled the sweater deduction. Okay, well, there we go. 1 minute and 4 seconds left on the clock. That's actually perfect because who doesn't love a colon game? Wait, phrasing. A game with a colon in the title.
Okay, well.
I was just going to say a game with a colon in it, and it's like, that's a game for a certain kind of person.
All right, well, anyway, hello. It's the end of the show. Goodbye. You can find us on social media at MakeThatGamePod. You can email us at MakeThatGamePodcast.
Wait, I just realized you're about to say it. We have to cover this.
At gmail.com.
You streamed. Oh. You streamed like last week, 2 weeks ago. We haven't had an episode to talk about it.
We didn't.
You did a personal best on stream. So folks, follow us on Twitch. Go to Twitch.
Oh man.
.com or twitch.tv/ make that game. Follow us. Subscribe to us. No, just subscribe costs money. Follow us. You'll get notified next time we stream, and you might see someone do a personal best of a speed run live on air. Claire did that.
I know. Actually, I forgot we didn't talk about it on the podcast.
She beat her personal best by like up until that moment by like 3 minutes.
No, it was like 1 minute.
It was only 1 minute?
Yeah, because I had a personal best that was like 34 something.
Oh, okay.
But still, it was still
you
really
got
good.
it down to like 33, 30 or something. Like, we did that. We haven't talked about it. So I just figured we had to talk about it a little bit.
No, I think that's true. I thought we did talk about it because, well, we accidentally skipped recording last week. Well, not accidentally, but we...
we intentionally did. We were like, we streamed and GDQ. So.
Yeah, we did not record last week. And then the week before, I talked about practicing for the run. So in my mind, I'm like, nah, we talked about this.
No.
Also, because at work, we do, we have to say our work bests and our personal bests. And in every meeting where I have to say my personal best, I've been saying that I got my personal best score in speedrunning.
Amazing.
So I feel like I've, but yeah. So do follow us on makethatgame.com. No. Follow us on twitch.tv/makethatgame.
Yeah.
And you can see cool stuff like that. And you can also watch the replay of that at youtube.com/ like the @ symbol, make that game. And we have the replay up there. And we will be streaming
in August.
No, in July.
Oh my God. Wait.
Because that was the June stream. It was June 30th.
Oh my God.
So we have to stream this month.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, probably the last weekend, I'm just going to guess.
Yeah, I'm guessing the last weekend at this point.
So the 27th, I think, is the Saturday.
We don't know what we'll do. It might not be speed running.
I was going to say, it will be streaming. That's what it will be for sure. But yeah, so please find us. And also, we love our fans. So feel free to reach out, even if you just want to say hi. Like, send us a DM, send us an email. We love it. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you can. And also, Spotify just launched comments on podcasts. So you can wave to us there if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Spam us.
With good things.
Not like actual spam. Yeah. Don't be posting links all over our comments.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Make us seem wildly popular.
That'd be amazing. Well, thank you for listening. And if you heard a game today that you just need to go play right now, the only way you're going to do that is if you get out there and make that game.